Hello, everybody. It's Monday, November 13th, and that means it's live chats with Maggie and Bunny. I'm Maggie.
And I'm Bunny.
Today's topic is the word rise. I seen a post on a friend's Facebook page today that gave me this message, and I wrote the acronym for the word rise, which is rise in spirit energy. What's keeping you from rising out of your trauma? What's keeping you from moving up? That's the question of the day. How do you rise in spirit energy? Any thoughts, Bunny? Any thoughts?
Well, I mean, this time when you wrote that and you said, this is what I think we're going to talk about, I didn't really give it any thought. I wanted it to be like any thought at all. I wanted it to be more spontaneous, more from spirit, from just, in the moment and not thinking about it at all. Because I know that sometimes some of the good, juicy stuff that I think about happens even before we get on the podcast.
Yep. But
And
we didn't have time for that today.
nothing like that today, but that's okay. This happens. This is what we do, and this is the way that we are, because we do make sure that we are coming from spirit, and so we're saying yes at the time. And I think that was what, when you were talking about rise and rising in spirit, that is the main thing for me. That is and maybe that's what I'm going to go into 2024, because I was trying to think of what it was I was going to do. And because on my Facebook page, ever since 2019, for sure, it might even have been as far back as 2018, I was doing something every day, and sometimes a couple of things a day. I know one year I did an I am statement and then a motivational quote at the end of the day. So I started with the I am, and the motivational quote was the end. And so I think that maybe I'll track what I do on my personal page, what I say yes to every day, the things that I say yes, where it is that I said yes. And I mean, I'm just coming up with that now, but that's rising to the occasion, rising to the, we talk about that. We have a lot of words of that in our vocabulary. We have a lot of sayings.
Yep.
Raise your glass, rise, raising people, raising children, like doing all of these things. It's all about rising and raising. And so I think that that's an important discussion to have, an important thing to do. So what about you?
Yeah, that's how it came to me when I looked at this post, and it didn't say anything about rising. It was talking
Mhm.
about traumas that we get stuck in our traumas and they keep us from experiencing joy. And I thought, yeah, that's so true. And as soon as I read that post, the word rise flashed into my mind. And then I saw the phoenix and the fire, and
Mhm.
it just made like a fire in my soul of yes. And like you just said, I was standing in my kitchen and I thought, oh, is that my theme of next year? Because every year spirit gives me a theme. This year was imagine the possible. And I'm thinking, whoa, is next year the rising? Is next year's theme? I don't know. Because it,
Mhm.
it usually doesn't come to me until near the end of December.
Yeah.
So I don't know. If I'm starting to get things early, woohoo.
Maybe it's because it's going to be a big one. And so, the energy is going to start showing up a little bit earlier. So that's the thing.
Yeah.
If it's the bigger it is, the earlier you're going to start having the energy, because you're going to start, like, if you think about when you are looking down the street at the highway, if you saw a baby crossing the street, actually, we'll go even smaller, a squirrel, you would have to be much closer to it before you saw it, as opposed
Yeah.
to if it was a big jumbo jet coming at you on the highway. So it's like that. So if it's something that's huge, you're going to see it much further away. So maybe that's why.
Yeah, and it's true. I also remember that I used to talk to you a lot about that something's coming and it's like a
Hmm.
train coming into the station. I
Yep.
can see the light of it and I feel it. When I
Hmm.
even talk about that with you,
Yeah.
I feel the spirit chills all over me because I know something's coming.
Hmm.
Something's coming,
Hmm.
and we need to rise up to be ready for whatever this is
Right.
that's coming. And it's so powerful that we do get those messages.
Mhm.
And that's how we are able to rise in spirit energy. Do we always have to feel like the phoenix rising? No, we
We're probably
don't.
not going to feel like the Phoenix
No,
Rising all the
we
time.
don't have to always feel like getting out of bed, but we do it anyway.
Mm,
You
yeah.
know, so you just do some things in motion. You just, you don't have to think about swallowing. You don't have to think about breathing. Well, most of us don't anyway.
Mhm.
Some do, but most don't. And it's kind of the same thing. I feel this energy of the rise, that rising in spirit energy. You don't even have to feel like you're doing it. You
Mhm.
don't even have to know you're doing it. You're just doing it. It's just coming on you every day. When you wake up, it's like putting on your clothes. You put on your clothes, you're putting on your spirit energy.
Mhm.
And it's so close as that we can every minute of every day rise in that spirit energy, because it never leaves us.
Right. And that's true. And it's really funny because we talk often about intention. It's so funny we're having this discussion because we talk very often about intention in like the spiritual community. And people will have rituals before they do specific things. And we did something for the first time on Wednesday. People who were there probably didn't realize it was the first time, but I had you kind of put me in a hypnotic meditative state to get some channeling. And I had the gift of having one of the people there that actually saw the moment that I connected. And she said it was instantaneous because that is the way that it is. But she said she actually saw like a channel of light come down from the sky right through me. And she said, and you were very grounded to the ground, to the earth. And which is funny because I used to think I couldn't ground because it didn't feel different. So as you were talking
Right.
about that right now, that's exactly what it was, is it didn't feel different to me. It doesn't feel different. And my intention, when I don't have to do a ritual, because literally me going, this is what I want to do now, is my intention. That's enough.
Yeah.
Is thinking
Yeah.
that. So I think that that's important to remember too. It doesn't have to be, when you're rising in spirit, it doesn't have to be a bunch of things that you have to do. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to go and get the white candles, or if you practice the saging, or smells. But if you like to do that as well. If that's something
Yeah.
that it does help you get into that, you can do that as well. Some people do that when they're waking up in the morning. I love to sit on my porch to just kind of let go of the house things, and I'm sort of more in the quiet there, and I can see the birds and squirrels and bunny rabbits and cats and whatever else is going around the neighborhood. And so that's my place where I like to do it. Everybody has different spaces where they like to connect. And so that's important too, is just whatever it is that works for you. You can get ideas from other people and take little bits and pieces if you need to, but whatever works for you is exactly what you need to do. That's it.
Yeah, it's true. And like you said, you don't have to feel like it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
I went today, I had 3 healing sessions. And as I explained to the last person who had never had it, they said, well, what do I expect? What happens? And I said, whatever's going to happen, happens.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay. And it's not me doing the healing. I said, I stop at before every session and I just say, angels, guides, and ancestors, come and flow through me. That's who's doing the healing. It's not my job.
Yeah.
I don't have to feel adequate. I don't have to feel like I know how to do it. I'm not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the energy of healing that is flowing through me from those angels, guides, and ancestors that come to do the healings with me. I don't have to do it. I call upon God. That's my belief.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be whoever, like whatever people believe. You call upon your source, and it's their responsibility. Your responsibility ends at asking.
Yeah.
So when I say rise in spirit energy, you don't have to feel like there's, fireworks going off.
Right.
You don't have to feel it, but know that those fireworks are going off.
Yeah.
Even if you don't feel it, it's going off in the spirit realm, because as soon as you set that intention to rise in spirit energy, it's happening.
That's it. Yeah.
It's happening,
Yeah.
you know?
As soon
It
as you're aware of it. One thing is, I will touch upon this because I know that a lot of people who are first starting out now, we don't know exactly in our audience if people are first starting out, if they find us, at the beginning of their journeys, if they haven't even started yet, whatever the case may be, we're not quite sure yet. But for people who are starting out, or for even somebody who's starting something new, a lot of times they'll say, what if it's just me? What if it's just my imagination? What if it's not spirit? What if it's just me? And I'll say to you, well, that's okay too. So, because if it's just you, quote unquote, it's working for you. And if it's just your imagination, you're doing something good. You're doing something good for you, something that's peaceful, something that's pleasant, something that, all of those kind of things, something that's empowering, something that is inspiring for you, passionate for you. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter where it came from.
No.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, I will tell people,
Oh, that's okay.
I will tell people that, that spirit comes, it doesn't matter if it is your imagination.
Right.
That's your imagination is bringing that.
Right.
We are all spirit, 100% of us. So that imagination is spirit as well.
Right. Right. It's all from the same. It's all created. Like the way that I believe it is that we have a collective consciousness and it's already there. It already exists. Everything already exists. And if you go on, and expand that, some people will talk about God is everything. And so, it's the same sort of thing. So, and that he has created everything already. And, and then if you just say spirit or creator, whatever the case may be, even when I talk about being a co-creator, because I'm a piece of creator, I'm a piece of spirit.
Absolutely.
And so that sort of thing. And so it is already created. So even if I am coming up with that is part of spirit. It is that it's more because it's the part that is not the physical part. It may be being thought in the physical mind, but I think it expands even outside of that. And scientists have even started to explain that they believe that the mind that isn't just in the physical brain, that it's actually outside of the physical brain and an energy just outside of it. Obviously, as science, they look for physical fact. So sometimes those things cannot present themselves as a physical fact. They can't always get the answers that way. And I do think that more people are starting to, think about things not just in a physical fact and understanding. Even when you talk about quantum, I know that Maggie's not quite aware of all of the scientific stuff, but when you talk about quantum physics, it's a lot of the quote unquote from Albert Einstein spooky science. So it's the things that they can't explain physically yet. So that's very important.
And all of that stuff started in their imagination.
Right. Right. Yeah. Exactly. And some of the most genius people, and Albert Einstein and Nikola Tesla, who are some of the most intelligent, or reported to be the intelligent, they actually did believe in God. They were religious people. They also believed in spiritual things. They said that a lot of the things that they received were actually from dreams or dream states. So, and that there were times where they would talk about tapping into a collective consciousness. So there's a lot of different, people don't always see all the facets to something. And it does bring apart that whole, when you look for something, you will find it. So if you're looking for evidence of a specific thing, you will find that evidence, and sometimes you'll ignore the other things that are there. But if you search for, out of curiosity, for anything, you'll find, which is sort of what I have been doing, is more searching out of curiosity and just kind of finding out what is there, all of what's there, not just the things that I already was looking for. So.
Yeah. And that's why we do this podcast, to talk about different things, to bring things to the table and put them out there, and just give food for thought and give you something to think about. And so for today, we want you to think about rising from your whatever. It could be a trauma. It could be stuck in something. You could feel like you're in quicksand. You could feel many different things. What is it that you're needing to rise from?
Right.
And we just want you to know that if you tap into your spirit energy, you can rise in that.
Mm-hmm.
Rise in spirit energy. Acronym for rise.
Yes.
Think of it.
And it doesn't have to be, while Maggie and I are talking about perhaps that is going to be our theme for 2024 or something similar to that. It doesn't have to be for a whole year. You could try it for a day, you could try it for a week, a month, whatever it is that you want to do, and just see what's happening. And I think you'll be surprised, pleasantly surprised when you see and you rise up. Yeah.
Be open to
Yeah.
what it is you may be rising to
Mm-hmm.
or from.
Yes, for sure. For sure.
So that's it for today, Monday, November 13th. You're up last, honey.
So this is the part where we tell you that if you want to, first of all, if you want to have us on your podcast, go ahead and reach out to us. Also, if you would like to be on our podcast, I think probably in 2024, we may start reaching out to more people who do podcasts and more people and see if anybody wants to come on. So that's exciting, having guests. So reach out to us either by our website, www.ataboveandbeyond.com, or at our email address ataboveandbeyond@gmail.com.
Okay, everybody, have a great night. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.